power up.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Sprint Halftime Report. I'm James Brown, and let me get you caught up on all the scores from the early games today. The Patriots capture their fourth straight division title with a 3-point victory over the Jaguars. Tom Brady 20-4 in December. Patriots take it there. Tennessee Titans a 1-point victory over the Buffalo Bills. As a result, the Bills are eliminated from postseason consideration, while the Titans win their sixth straight. The Colts fall for the first time ever to the Houston Texans. Chris Brown's game-winning 48-yard field goal did it with no time left. They are now 1-9, Houston against the Indianapolis Colts. The Ravens, 31-7 winners over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Super Bowl champion Steelers are eliminated from postseason consideration. The Ravens match a franchise record with 12 wins. The Saints march into the Meadowlands and take care of business against the Giants. The Giants had 67 yards in their first series, only 75 the rest of the game. Panthers end a 4-game losing streak, win it by 7 over the Falcons. A team record 52 rushes for the Carolina Panthers. The Chicago Bears, winners over the Detroit Lions. Bears 4 straight wins overall, 4 straight also over the Lions. The Washington Redskins lose in overtime to the St. Louis Rams. Steven Jackson, a big game. He had the game-winning touchdown in OT, 150 rush yards and 102 receiving yards. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick up their first road win with that 15-point victory over the Cleveland Browns. Coming up, we'll have all the highlights in the Sprint Halftime Report continues on CBS. And welcome back to our New York studios and the Sprint Halftime Report. I'm James Brown, along with my guys Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, and Boomer Esiason. Headline notes: New England has captured its AFC East title for the 4th consecutive year. And with Houston's victory over the Indianapolis Colts, the San Diego Chargers now have a first-round bye. And speaking of San Diego, a 7-0 lead over the Seahawks at the half. LaDainian Tomlinson, 102 yards at the half, 9th straight game with 100 yards or more.
All right, guys, here you go. The Broncos and the Bengals. The Bengals coming back here. They're going to take the lead on this nicely thrown ball by Carson Palmer. This is what happens. You play prevent down in the red zone, 17-14. Palmer, 2 interceptions already in the first half.
Matt Leinart would lead this game. Return is doubtful, but not before he did this. 6 yards to Larry Fitzgerald. Best hands in football. They're up 20-6.
Hey, Lawrence Maroney runs this ball 27 yards. That puts Patriots up by 10. Tom Brady threw for 249 yards, a touchdown to 11 different receivers. Rodney Harrison recovers the fumble from David Garrard, which seals the victory, and Tom Brady talks about the victory.
I think we're playing for one reason, that's to win a Super Bowl, and it's going to be quite a challenge, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, I like our chances.
The Titans had 215 yards rushing and another solid day from Vince Young, 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. This one to Brandon Jones. Puts them up big here, but J.P. Lossman, Coach Dick Duron of the Buffalo Bills, did not feel his field goal kicker could make it into this breeze. They go for it. He circles back. J.P. throws it up. Ronaldo Hill of the Titans come down with it as they win on the road, 30-29.
How about those Colts? They fall to 11-4, the number 3 seed in the AFC playoff race. They are up 191 yards on the ground. A disgusted Peyton Manning trying to get the troops rallied. How about Tony Dungy at the end of the game after Chris Brown kicks the game winner? He blames it on himself.
I take the blame for it, for not having us ready to go and ready to play, and they outplayed us.
All right, so that was the Ravens and the Steelers. All right, folks, we're going to step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, we will continue with the Sprint Halftime Report. That after this.
Get ready for the second half. San Diego will get the ball first. The battle of the MVPs. Last year, Sean Alexander, 48 yards rushing, and the man considered the lock to win the MVP this year. LaDainian Tomlinson, 102 yards to lead the Chargers in the opening half. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays back in Seattle at Qwest Field with 67,000 frantic Seahawk fans are not too happy about a 7-0 San Diego lead. Incredible half. One completed pass by the Chargers the entire first 30 minutes, but it's for 9 yards, and the touchdown, the only scoring of the half.
It's all been about LT, that one big run, and really their persistence with the running game. And you know, you'd win a great trivia question if you saw 1 of 10 for a touchdown, 12 of 21 with 2 interceptions. Which quarterback has the highest rating? Well, it's a guy with 1 completion for a touchdown.
Yeah, let's not get into that
Oh, yeah.
statistic. It seems ridiculous, doesn't it?
But the 4 turnovers have been huge, slowing down this Seattle offense. A consistent pressure by Merriman and Olshansky.
4 sacks, you meant.
4
obviously.
sacks, yeah, 4 sacks, and it's been amazing what that defense for San Diego's been able to do in the way of frustrating Seattle, because Hasselbeck has had a pretty good half, but they forced him into a couple of interception errors. And man, can any Seattle receiver consistently hold on to the ball?
And just to sort it out officially, Merriman credited with 2 of the sacks, and Jacques Césaire, who's starting for Louis Castillo, has the other 2. And this game is being brought to you in high definition here on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41. So let's go to that comparison, Philip Rivers and Matt Hasselbeck. You explain it.
Yeah, good luck on play. 72-9 with 1 completion. You think there's a little bit of emphasis put on touchdowns?
And interceptions really taking a bite out of that rating. Hasselbeck, unfortunate, both interceptions were on ricochets, so you know those really go against the quarterback, but often it's the receiver. But both passes were a little off mark.
The second one was earned. The first one was a clean deflection. The second one was earned. Donnie Edwards got his hand in there and deflected the first one, but he overthrew that second one. Ingram barely had a chance to catch it.
First half, 13 first downs versus 12 punts for the 2 teams combined. Josh Brown to kick it to Michael Burner Turner. And Turner waits at the goal line, comes up to the 2. 20. Battles his way across the 25-yard line and at about the 27. And there's a look at the Chargers just through the first quarter and into the second period. It was just 3 and out for the most part. Very little yardage and a lot of punting. And then the one long run, 62 yards by LT, set up scoring position. And Vincent Jackson finding his way open in the end zone for the 9-yard catch, the only reception. Meanwhile, Tomlinson with 102 yards in that first half. The great ones find a way to get it done, don't they? From the 27. Rivers is going to throw. Fires downfield for Gates, and finally they find the all-pro tight end Antonio Gates. Marcus Trufant the tackle, and Gates a first down on the Seattle 48-yard line.
Well, if you're going to wait for a guy to be open, it might be a while. But if you've got a receiver like Antonio Gates, who's such a great body receiver, he uses his body and shields the defender better than anybody, I think, in the league. Just throw it up there. He'll shield him and he'll catch him.
At basketball training in the post at Kent State, and they all rave about his hands. Anything close to him, he catches. The toss to LT. Has some room, 45-40. Down the sidelines, 30. At the 20, at the 10, and Tomlinson has scored a touchdown. But a flag is down, and it is down at the 45-yard line. And let's see if this one's coming back. And Rivers claps his hands in disgust as if he heard the bad news.
Yeah, it's right about where a receiver would be holding.
Personal foul. Grasping a face mask. Offense number 70. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Right tackle Shane Olivier. That's an unusual call where on a sweep he grabbed a face mask.
Well, here's Olivier right here, number 70, the right tackle. He's going to be blocking on the outside on Herndon. Gets his right hand. See it up there in the face mask? Right there. That's what the call was. That was the face mask. That was an excellent call.
And it was right on the point where LT had to make the corner. So,
and it was right in front of the side judge.
And so that long run for an apparent touchdown by Tomlinson called back. Ball spotted at the 41-yard line. So instead of a 14-0 lead, the Chargers 7-0, and they look at first down and long.
That is a break for Seattle. Now the Seattle defense has to do something with it.
First and 21. Michael Turner in. He gets some good yardage, and he's in the open and down at the 38-yard line and made up the 21 on one carry. And this is why it is such a 1-2 attack, the running back position. LT on his way to the MVP in the league undoubtedly, and then Turner comes in and he would be a star runner for most teams.
Remember the thing about the fits into the backside zones and the fits into the gaps for the defense? They were doing it in the first half, but right now this is about getting flat mashed. On the last run where Olivier was called for the hold, and on that run there, that was just man on man, O lineman on D lineman, and Lorenzo Neal splattering people. That's establishing a physical presence.
Turner needed 21 and gave his team 21 in the first down. Seattle 38. LT back in. Tomlinson trying to make the corner. Look at that patience, and then finds the spot, cuts out of bounds near a 10-yard gain at the 28 in front of Lofa Tatupu. Injury on the Turner run that preceded the timeout. Here it is.
On the right there is Trufant. Watch the lower body of Lofa Tatupu come over and catch him. Catching Trufant right there in the ankle, gets his ankle underneath his body.
Fortunately, he didn't have that foot locked on the turf.
Yeah, but Dick, then the next play, that's 3 plays in a row now. San Diego's offense has come out and absolutely mashed Seattle.
Marcus McNeil, who left the game in the first half with a stinger, is back in at left tackle. Tomlinson, nothing there this time as he has met smartly, as filling the hole was Grant Wistrom, the defensive end from Nebraska, former St. Louis Ram. But Tomlinson with his carries here in the second half, and that with a 48-yard apparent touchdown call back because of a penalty, he still has 116 yards as he's reclaimed the NFL rushing lead from Larry Johnson, and he has set his own personal record, most yards gained in a season, with his effort today. Rivers looking for his third completion, and there's no one there. Looked like the ball slipped out of his hand. Keenan McCardell was about 5 yards farther downfield. And Marcus Trufant, who has been praised by his coaches for having an outstanding season this year, being taken back to the Seahawk locker room.
That's really been the story of this Seahawk team the last 3 or 4 years. Injuries. Injury reserve injuries. You had Hasselbeck's missed time, Alexander's missed time. The only year they've had their team together and on a roll was last year for Mike Holmgren.
And their leading receiver, Darrell Jackson, out again with a toe, with 63 catches and 10 touchdowns. You can't use it as an excuse, but it is one, and Rivers doesn't get it off. Tried to call time. Did they allow it? Yeah, they're going to say he yelled timeout before that 0 hit the scoreboard. So the first used by San Diego in the second half.
You about pulled the muscle calling that timeout.
Seaplane landing here in Seattle. It's an interesting experience if you've never had that opportunity. And the Chargers and Seahawks trying to come up with a positive landing in this battle of first place teams. It's 3rd down and 10 for Rivers. Throws deep into the end zone and overshoots his man. He had Vincent Jackson open.
Nice job by Rocky Bernard coming around on the stunt, getting in Phillip Rivers' chest and denying him the chance and that safety and that warmth, you might say, in the pocket of being able to complete that, because he had an open man. Jackson was open.
Nate Kading comes out. This will not be an easy field goal try. He's kicking into the wind up to 18 miles an hour. 22 of 25 on the season, as long as 54. This one will be 46 yards into the wind. This will challenge. It's straight enough, and it is good. It just did drop over the crossbar. Was that dying? That kick, you could just see hit that wind and was coming straight down and just did make it from 46. Right about here, it's running out of gas, but had enough. Opening drive of the second half, and San Diego comes up with a field goal. Remember, the same drive, Tomlinson had a 48-yard touchdown call back on Olivier's penalty, but Kading delivers from 46. It's 10-0. And Nate Burleson played his college ball at Nevada. His dad, a player, you fans up in Canada remember him in the late 70s, early 80s with Calgary. And he'll get another chance. He has a couple of career punt return touchdowns, both over 90, but no score on a kickoff return. 12-12 left in the third, and Kading's boot to the 4. There's a crease, 30. He's by Kading, but caught from behind for a moment, but a flag is down. Burleson would go all the way if it counts. But there's a flag at the 36-yard line.
Seattle thinks it's against San Diego.
During the return, holding number 47 of the return team.
Oh my.
10-yard penalty, first down.
Great effort by Burleson, almost on cue, looking for his first kickoff return touchdown. It would have been for 96 yards. Would have been, could have been, huh?
There's the offense. That looked like a heck of a block to me. That didn't look like much of a hold, but then again, I spent 13 years blocking. What do I know?
And you never held.
Well, if he was holding, it was inside the frame of the body, and that's not holding.
Right. Hand off to Alexander. Igor Olshansky, another tackle for San Diego. This big guy from Oregon playing a solid game again. Here's the first half possessions for the Seahawks, and not much better at all than San Diego. All punts and 2 picks. They did drive down deep looking for at least a field goal at the end of the half, but intercepted, and there's the bat down as Sean Merriman in the face of Hasselbeck. Knew it was a quick pass, couldn't get in, and able to fly swat it.
Well, remember, this is a team in Seattle that needs to win this division, needs a win to win the West, or a San Francisco loss. And right now, the way they're playing and the way the timing isn't, they're going to have to hope they back into it with an Arizona win over San Francisco, because Sean Merriman and this defense isn't about to give up much to Hasselbeck in this offense.
Second season, he's only 22 years of age. He's got 2 sacks today and 14 and a half on the season. Last year's a rookie with 10. Throw into the flat is to Dion Branch, and Branch skips out of bounds for the first down at the 41-yard line. In front of Antonio Cromartie.
I have a question as to whether or not he got both feet in. Check out on the catch. Got to have the possession before the feet hit.
He dragged that right foot. He left that rubber mark, tire mark there. This surface, the artificial carpet with ground rubber, giving it its bounce and support, and it does help officials, because when you drag that foot, you leave a trail.
You see the spray.
Yeah.
The spray. And I tell you, this is a different field. I mean, there is more, and I know you can see even on the camera here, you can see a little bit of a dark twinge to the green. There's more of that black ground up tire or rubber on this field than normal artificial field.
3 yards for Alexander on first down. Good pressure, and Hasselbeck sacked for the 5th time, and it was Stephen Cooper with Olshansky collaborating on that sack.
Well, that was just a stunt inside. You're going to see things happening with the inside of this defense. Check out, I mean, it's challenging for Chris Gray and Locklear, and you've got Cooper coming and Olshansky coming, and nobody's catching anything but an edge. And when you catch an edge on a defender, you don't catch much.
Well, they have to be so concerned with the outside rush of Merriman and Phillips that when you concentrate too much outside, you allow that opening up the middle, and that paid off for San Diego. 3rd and long, quick throw, wide open Branch, and he drops his 3rd pass of the game. He was trying to run before he caught it. He knew he should have had it, and the fans let him know as well.
Now, you have any questions if you're watching this game as to why Mike Holmgren has been as frustrated and mad at his football team at any time of his coaching career? I mean, it's got to be so frustrating to watch your team do this. I mean, the heck with being on the other end of it and throwing the ball. Imagine being on the sideline and having absolutely no control over it.
Branch might have gone through a whole year with the Patriots and dropped 3. There's another boomer by Plackemeier that's going to go all the way into the end zone for the touchback at the 20. 60 yards, 40 on the net, and Deion Branch not helping his quarterback today. And welcome back to Qwest Field, and happy holidays, everyone. Big night for the kids, and Mike Holmgren not in the holiday spirit.
Yeah. Those cheeks aren't red from the cold like Santa's. He is a bit miffed.
That's the official, apparently, that threw the flag on the kickoff return that cost Seattle a touchdown. From the 20, Tomlinson gives on the reverse to Jackson, and Jackson loses yards back to the 18 as Julian Peterson was all over it this time. Well, speaking of Christmas Eve, tomorrow night, Christmas night, CBS has the gift that will keep you laughing all night. 3 hilarious episodes of How I Met Your Mother. Celebrate the holiday on CBS with a smile Monday night.
You know, Dick, for me, at this point of the game, you've got 9:30 left in the third quarter. You're up 10-0. Don't be fancy. Don't run reverses. Don't be cute. You can maul these guys. You can mash these guys. Let your offensive line and your great blocking fullback just take the heart out of their defense.
Tomlinson is out in the slot, and then they give to Turner, so they bring both running backs in, and Turner gets nothing. They thought maybe as a decoy, Tomlinson playing in the slot, and he was in that position, remember, against Denver in that night game, and streaked with a pass for a touchdown, but the play was to Turner.
Yeah. There's times to be creative, and there's times to be cute. I just don't think this is one of them. You had that long drive with those two or three big runs before because you physically came off the ball and took the defense out.
3rd and 9, McCardell to the left, Jackson to the right. Antonio Gates split on the right side. Rivers sacked for the first time. And it was Tupu on the blitz, with plenty of support in the second wave.
You know, Dick, on this play, too, this is maximum protection because you've got Manamalauna and Tomlinson in, plus your 5 offensive linemen. I mean, you've got about as much in the way of protection as you're going to get, and they just bring an extra guy into Tupu, and perfect timing by Lofa Tatupu on that blitz.
Only had a half sack all season long. He was disappointed in that after a 4-sack season as a rookie. Cyphers to Burleson. He's waving off everyone. The ball will bounce for San Diego and then kick out of bounds at about the 48-yard line of the Seattle Seahawks. Timeout. Holidays from Seattle. The rain continues to fall as it has throughout the entire game. Seahawks can clinch the division win, the NFC West with a win, or a 49er loss. San Francisco trailing by 10 at Arizona as we speak. Alexander, the tailback, first down from the 48. It is Alexander, and he's caught the line of scrimmage. Sean Phillips with the tackle, a 2-yard gain.
You know, last time Seattle had the ball, it all sort of started with that kickoff. Remember, I mean, the holding penalty called back, the kickoff by Burleson, the kickoff return by Burleson for a touchdown. And then you got Merriman knocking down a pass, and then you've got a sack on Hasselbeck. Then you have a drop by Branch. You know, Mike Holmgren going crazy.
Oh, hit as he throws the ball, and it's almost intercepted by Cooper on the deflection. And the charge through was Jamal Williams who got his hands on it as Hasselbeck got hit again as he threw.
If that foot goes in the ground, the ball's not gone, you're going to have an issue. And even sometimes when the foot gets in the ground and you go to throw it, you'll have an issue. But when you don't block Phillips, this is about the 4th or 5th time today they haven't allowed for one of the outside linebackers. It's been Sean Merriman most of the time. That time it was Phillips.
Phillips has 11.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. Merriman now with 14.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. 3rd down and 8. Over the middle, and it's open to Ingram, and there's a sure-handed catch, and the fans like it. They've been frustrated. Bao Zhu, safety, made the tackle.
Yeah, I don't know how this particular drive is going to come out there, Dick, but Seattle and their fans owe a big thank you to the San Diego Chargers for trying to be too cute in that last possession. They had a chance to really take some time off the clock and add to that 10-0 lead. And right now, this offense, it starts getting a little confidence. They will be dangerous.
Ingram with his first catch since missing all that action with the thyroid condition. And it's Alexander plowing straight ahead into Jamal Williams and company. Ingram now with 45 yards on 3 catches today. Plenty of time. 6:45 left in the third quarter. 10-0 San Diego here in Seattle. 2 first-place teams in this battle. The Chargers, with the Indianapolis loss, have assured themselves an off week in the first round of the playoffs, but they're looking for home field. But with Baltimore winning, they need a victory to make sure that Baltimore doesn't capture that home field throughout. Hasselbeck under pressure, throws incomplete. Intended for Deion Branch. Covered well by Quentin Jammer.
That was all about the pressure, Dick. I mean, Hasselbeck had to get rid of that ball.
Indianapolis won the AFC East, or check that, the New England has won the NFC East with a victory today. That's 4 straight for the Patriots. Indianapolis lost. That's the biggest shocker of this day to Houston. And Baltimore beat San Diego earlier. So head to head, if they finish with the same record, Baltimore would get the home field advantage throughout.
I don't care what anybody says. You can call it mediocrity, parity, whatever. I love everybody being in it in week 16.
Look at the hole here. Alexander to the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown. Sean Alexander calling up memories from his sensational MVP year in 2005. Rips off a 33-yard touchdown run.
And it was over that left side where he did so much business before. Nice job by Jones. Excellent job by the rookie Sims. And a lot of speed and power from Sean Alexander.
Josh Brown to try the extra point. And it's a 10-7 game here in the middle of the third quarter. 52 yards in 6 plays for the Seahawks. A good defensive stand. They get field position on a short kick. And then Alexander with a huge hole. And he gets the full steam on his way 33 yards for the score.
Here are the 2 key blocks right here. Sims and Walter Jones, the left guard, left tackle. This is how you make a star make the other team pay for being cute. In return, you just go right at them. That's exactly what the Chargers should have done last time they had the ball. It's what they get in return out of Sean Alexander.
Alexander's 5th touchdown run of the season.
Yeah, I think his foot's okay too.
Only the 6th rushing touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks as a team. And remember, a year ago, Alexander setting the NFL record as he had 27 rushing touchdowns and 1 with a catch.
Nice matchup. Last year's MVP on the right, probably this year's on the left. And Alexander did mention, remember about his x-ray, he goes, you know, my foot isn't really healed. It's not going to be completely healed till sometime this offseason. It still kind of looks broken on the x-ray. Didn't look broken there.
Well, trying to break the hearts, though, of the Chargers as Turner takes it on the goal line. Following blockers and hit in the open field by Jimmy Williams. And what a tackle, because Turner had blockers in front should he have made that corner. And the spirit of this 12th man in Seattle has really come to life in the third quarter. Next Sunday, NFL on CBS. We can't give you any times because we're going to hand-pick our doubleheader with playoff impact featuring the games listed here. Lots of good ones. Check local listings, beginning with JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today, here on the home of Super Bowl 41, CBS Sports.
Every one of those games you saw has playoff implications.
Rivers and the Chargers start at their own 18. Neal and Tomlinson split behind Rivers. Rare time, Neal in motion. And charging into the offensive line, Bryce Fisher. Was he drawn offside?
That's going to be his story. But he looked like he came off the ball first.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 94. Moving into the neutral zone that caused the offensive false start. A 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
There's Bryce Fisher right there, left defensive end. He clearly starts early, and Shane Olivier, he just sort of moves and reacts. It's a natural reaction, but he comes off the ball first.
Fisher, who played his college ball at the Air Force Academy, served a couple of years of active duty in the Air Force. First down and 5.
Motion.
And the 5 yards given back. False start.
Brandon Malamauna.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty.
I'm convinced this is the noisiest stadium in the league. They've got me convinced as we look at the NFC playoff picture. The Bears are home free. New Orleans Saints, what a big win against the Giants today. Cowboys and Seattle, those are the division leaders, with the Eagles and still the Giants in the best position for the wild card. Deafening. And the throw behind Tomlinson as Rivers hit as he threw, and they're really pressuring the young quarterback of the Chargers.
Well, it's such a disadvantage for the offensive line in this kind of noise. They get off the ball so late, and the defensive line is able to just charge up the field. Both Fisher and Wistrom are pinching from the outside, and the defensive tackles like Bernard are collapsing the pocket right in Rivers' face.
It's so loud it hurts. Good protection this time, and a bad pass to Neal. And Rivers has just not been accurate at all the entire game.
Well, it's a different offense, Dick. These last 2 series, you know, they came out running the reverse and the cute little, here's our formation, LT's over here, and they've lost the momentum. I mean, they had, after that one drive that got them the field goal, Marty Schottenheimer and his football team really had the physical and literal momentum in this game, and they've lost it.
The play calling has gone to Cam Cameron after the loss in Baltimore earlier this season. Rivers trying to get the attention in a spread formation for the first time. Throws deep down the middle for Gates. He's open. And Gates is down to the 45 of the Seahawks as Michael Boulware makes the tackle. Well, they protected Rivers well, and with 3 wide receivers to his left, then they slip Gates down the field.
Well, it's perfect when you get the right matchup, and there's the matchup they wanted right there with Gates beating Lofa Tatupu right over the top. Boulware has made the tackle, but that was a matchup of tight end on middle linebacker, and it was a mismatch.
The give is to Tomlinson, and Tomlinson a yard or 2 in the center of that Seahawk defense as the clock ticks down to the 5-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. Ball spotted at the 42.
You know, Dick, if you're San Diego, you know that Cam Cameron has to know that this defense has the ability. They've already done it twice to give up big plays on the running game. Be patient. You have to be willing to take that 1 or 2 yard gain because you're going to get a 30 or 40 in there too.
Nick Hardwick, the center, the Pro Bowlers left the field. Corey Withrow is now snapping the ball for the Chargers on 2nd down and 8. The quick throw. It is complete to Jackson, and the rangy 6'5" wide receiver has a big catch and another first down inside the 30. Kelly Jennings, who's playing for the injured Marcus Trufant, made the tackle.
Wonderful release by Phillip Rivers. Nice and quick, and just zips it out to a huge wide receiver target. Vincent Jackson, by 1980s and 90s standards, is a tight end. Now he's a real good wide receiver.
6'5" and 241, the number 2 draft pick a year ago out of Northern Colorado. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, first down. Tomlinson into the middle of that Seahawk defense, and it's been stingy inside all day. The yardage that Tomlinson has made is when he's been able to get outside, and that 62-yard run in the 2nd quarter, setting up the only touchdown for the Chargers, as eventually Rivers hit Vincent Jackson with his only completed pass of the entire opening half, that for a touchdown.
Hey, this is the kind of performance out of Philip Rivers, though, that really lends you to believe why Marty Schottenheimer and this organization love this young man. He is so mentally strong. He could care less about bad stats. He's going to make you play on the right plays.
2nd and 9. The pump. And then the throw underneath is complete for short yardage to McCardell, who's had a quiet day. And in fact, McCardell, who is working on about 860 catches in his career. This year has 32. That makes 33, but no touchdowns.
Well, he's become kind of a possession guy in this point of his career, especially with guys like Antonio Gates at tight end and Vincent Jackson at wide receiver. I mean, plus you look at what Floyd's done and everyone else at the wide receiver position for this football team.
3rd down, a short 6. The quick throw incomplete to Jackson, and Kelly Herndon appeared to get a hand on it, or that could have been a score.
That was a perfectly timed swipe. I don't know if he got much of that ball, but just the arm in front of the ball right here as he tries to bat it down, and he does catch it right on the laces.
Herndon denied a touchdown. You can see Jackson's face and Rivers. They thought they had 6. Here's Kading to try a 40-yard field goal. Again, this is into the prevailing wind. He kicked it from this end 46 yards earlier in the quarter. It is good. 40 yards for Kading and a 13-7 San Diego lead. Big play on that was the catch over the middle by Antonio Gates on 3rd down. So a 6-point advantage San Diego in the Seattle rain. Let's go back to the Clear Studios in New York.
Hey, Dick and Randy, trailing Cincinnati by 3. Broncos put together a 14-play, 99-yard drive, capped by that 2-yard Mike Bell run to retake the lead. 21-17 over Cincy late in the 3rd. Dick and Randy.
Yeah, it looks, JB, as if there's a little snow falling in Denver. What a surprise.
Yeah, add to the 3 feet they got this weekend. Earlier this week.
Here's Nate Burleson, denied a 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown on his last opportunity with a holding call that Mike Holmgren was furious about. Holmgren talking with his quarterback, Hasselbeck.
Well, it looked like on the sideline, Hasselbeck was moving around doing a few stretching exercises, like that knee was bothering him a little bit. If you're San Diego, if he shows any sign of being a little bit slow of foot, you keep attacking him.
Seneca Wallace, who subbed very well for Hasselbeck when he sat out the 4 games, would be the backup quarterback. Kading high and into the wind, dying short to the 15. Burleson again trying to get outside, does, and finally Cromartie bumps him out of bounds across the 30-yard line. He's taken some punishment, Matt Hasselbeck, today. 5 sacks for San Diego.
And Dick, it started from the get-go. This is the first pass he tried to throw. Sean Merriman was all over him, and it's been Merriman, it's been Olshansky, it's been a little bit of Phillips, it's been Jacques Cesar. It's been a little bit of everybody, but you know it's the best way to attack this offense. If they're not going to pile it in and run it, you attack the quarterback because they want to throw.
There's the pump fake and batted down by Merriman again. That's 2 that he's knocked down. Can't get to Hasselbeck for the sack, but he's very athletic and agile, as you can see, to get in the air and fly swat another.
Well, Merriman's working against Stevens, and Stevens actually releases him to go out for the pass that he blocked.
That was close to being caught by Merriman.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's an amazing athlete. He paid the price for a series of dumb decisions, no doubt, when he had a suspension, but he's been awarded a Pro Bowl berth, which many people have got a few issues with.
Handoff to Alexander, who gets the 34. In fact, Charlie Casserly on the NFL Today said that the owners and coaches are trying to form some support for if a man is suspended during the course of the season for a violation of the substance abuse policy, that he disqualifies himself from the Pro Bowl. I would vote for that.
Well, it's not so much the substance abuse, it's a steroid policy. Because substance abuse isn't viewed as cheating. But the steroids policy is viewed as cheating by the Players Association, and I think they would get a lot of support for that.
So you're saying alcohol or marijuana or drug, you wouldn't be suspended, but steroid use you would. Hasselbeck doesn't like the way this one's set up, so he calls time with 1:30 left in the third quarter. Well, Merriman took his punishment. He used some of that time to go to New Orleans and work with charitable efforts. He apologized to his teammates. He says, I think I've learned my lesson.
He hasn't been too charitable today.
No, that's a different matter.
Well,
Lights out.
Maybe he has. He has been handing a lot of stuff out. Beatings.
Look at the quickness. Down on his feet, off his feet, gets up, able to make plays. Yeah, the nickname for Merriman since college is Lights Out, because he, even in high school, would there'd be lights out for the men he hit. Kind of a metaphor for what happened really here in Seattle a week ago Thursday, when they had a tremendous storm, over 1 million people without electricity. The Seattle Seahawks, Holmgren said on Tuesday he had the team meeting and it was in a dark room. He said, I think my players were in there. I thought I felt them in there. Couldn't see it. Hasselbeck over the middle. Oh, almost intercepted by Donnie Edwards again. And has he come close on a couple of occasions today, as DJ Hackett, the intended target, and on third down, incomplete. Here comes the Seattle punting gang.
You know, Donnie Edwards is one of those guys, Dick, that always finds a way to make a play. He's always in the right position, and I know there's been some issues, you know, about, you know, money and will he stay, will he go. They gave his backup, Wilhelm, the linebacker, an extended contract, but man, this guy can play.
You could see how he baited the throw. He was hoping the ball would come to where he is. Here's Cardell surrounded as he crosses the 20-yard line. And we remind you that tonight on CBS begins, of course, with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, and that'll be followed by Cold Case. And then it's a CBS Sunday movie you'll want to see with the family, A Very Married Christmas, tonight on CBS, America's #1 network. Yeah, we wish all fans here and those of you that are making a trip over the Christmas holiday, safe travels. What a great time to hug the ones you love. And Tomlinson, as he lines up at tailback, that was his answer to us yesterday. What are you most thankful for? He takes the handoff, good cut to the 25, and he thought it was a very thoughtful pause by LT, and he said, love. He said, the love that I get from my wife and my friends, the fans, my teammates. He is such a sensitive young man to all that's around him, and empathetic as well. He cares about everybody.
But here's a guy at a home game, Dick. He'll stay after the game, hand out wristbands and shirt and stuff to the kids and the people around. Then he'll go out and he'll go to a local restaurant with 10 or 20 of the disadvantaged kids that he hosts at the game and have a meal and just hang out with kids.
2nd down and 7 for Rivers. Deep down the left sidelines for Jackson. Broken up beautifully by Kelly Jennings. Jennings playing for the injured Marcus Trufant. And he makes a good play, the rookie from Miami of Florida.
Perfect play by Kelly Jennings. Just gets that hand in there to deny Jackson. Because Jackson he's open. And he's been open a lot today.
Chargers without Eric Parker, one of their top wide receivers, with a neck injury. Malcolm Floyd on the injured reserve list a couple of weeks ago. So Jackson picking up the load. 3rd down and 7.
This crowd is loud and they know this game is far from over.
Final seconds and a snap bobbled by Rivers and down at the 15, and that probably the final play of the third quarter. And again, Rivers and the Chargers with a staggering possession. Took his eye off the snap.
It was right in the perfect spot. Just when you're looking at the coverage, it's just another example. You know, you talk about how easy this game is made to look at times by young players.
Wonder why they're hurrying here. They want the quarter to end so they get the wind advantage in the start of the fourth. That's exactly what's going to happen. There's the final seconds. End of the third. 13-7. San Diego leads Seattle. And we'll be right back. With Randy Cross, Dick Enberg, welcome back to Seattle, where the San Diego Chargers own a 13-7 lead, about to give up the ball with Mike Cyphers to kick around the 5-yard line. Nate Burleson at the 40. Cyphers should benefit from a trailing wind on this punt. And it's partially blocked, I believe, and it goes down the right sideline and bounds out of bounds just outside the Charger 45-yard line, right at the 45.
It might have been partially blocked, but it was mostly bad. And Cyphers just seems to have sort of lost his touch. If you have a touch with your foot, he doesn't have it right now.
Yeah.
That ball was just sort of shanked. It wasn't blocked.
Looked like a bad drop where he didn't hit it cleanly at all. Cyphers, who was booming huge kicks, averaging about 45 a punt, lots of height, tough to return, and most all of his kicks have been returnable today and short. So first down, Seattle trailing by 6. Great field position at the San Diego 45. Sean Alexander has to be buoyed by that 33-yard touchdown rumble that got the Seahawks on the board in the 3rd. And here is Alexander, caught at the line of scrimmage, no gain. And good stuffing by Stephen Cooper and Donnie Edwards, the linebackers. Alexander very much in admiration of LT. There's Marty Schottenheimer. He said his 5-year-old granddaughter in Charlotte, North Carolina. He talked to him yesterday and said, "Don't forget, Papa, Santa Claus comes tomorrow night. I wanted to tell you because you get a little distracted about this time of the year." Hasselbeck incomplete, and that's another for Branch. He was in a crowd, but again had both hands on the ball.
This is very unlike Deion Branch to be dropping these passes. And there are excuses. The ball might have been tipped. The ball might have been in the way. I just think that one there just looks like at the very last second you've got a slight deflection by Sean Phillips, and that just distracts him enough so he can't catch it.
So 3rd down and 10. Hasselbeck's 7 for 9 to start, and he's been 7 for 21 since. Here comes a corner blitz, and it's picked up nicely. The throw complete to Ingram. And Ingram, the sure-handed veteran, has a first down at the San Diego 25.
Well, we talked earlier, Dick, about the fact that the 49ers were trailing Arizona, and there was a chance that Seattle could kind of back into a division win this year and get their spot in the playoffs. But between Ingram and Hasselbeck, I don't think they want to back into it. I think they want to take it.
That deep middle's been open all day for Seattle.
When they've held it.
Yeah. Ingram has taken advantage. Here comes Alexander trying to make the corner. Oh, is he hit on a good shoulder tackle by Quentin Jammer, the left corner, assisting Sean Phillips. But it was Jammer coming up late to finish the job on a solid tackle. Yeah, that was the pad popper. Jammer, who's had his best season, the #1 pick out of Texas back in 2002, has 4 interceptions to lead the Chargers. 2nd and 10. Hasselbeck changes his back, splits them. Alexander and Strong. Pumps once. Under some pressure. Throws incomplete. And a flag down.
Oh,
yeah. There was some manhandling by Drayton Florence on Deion Branch. Contact before the pass arrived.
After that pump, you saw that the only place Hasselbeck could put the ball would be where he had to go through him.
Defense number 29 penalized at the spot of the foul and a first down.
And that's an excellent job by not only Hasselbeck but also Deion Branch. Watch him position his body, puts himself between the DB and the ball, and Drayton Florence had to go through him to get to the ball.
And with the penalty, the Seahawks have it 9 yards away from a go-ahead touchdown. Alexander, 5. Touchdown. A flag is down in the end zone. I didn't see any undue celebration. Maybe there was an illegal block right on the goal line.
Well, if there is anything that might be called, Sims, the guard,
during the run. Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 48. They will penalize 15 yards on the kickoff. Play results in a touchdown.
Well, that's a double bite against the Chargers. Not only a go-ahead touchdown, but 15 yards farther upfield on the ensuing kickoff for the Seahawks.
Just a wonderful job of blocking and persistence. Because you've got the persistence, you've got the blocking, and right there you've got the face mask that'll be added onto the kickoff.
And Alexander now over the 100-yard mark as Josh Brown adds the extra point. And Seattle's in front for the first time today with 12:58 left in the fourth quarter. Alexander again. So a combination of things, and boy, the emotion has really swung dramatically to the Seahawks side. A short punt, a short field, 45 yards. 5 plays later, Alexander breaking tackles, charges into the end zone, and Seattle leads 14-13 with just under 13 minutes to go. Still raining in Seattle. Boy, it's a happier crowd now as Brown just will kick this one out of the end zone as he booted the ball from the 45-yard line. Remember the face mask penalty on Alexander's touchdown run. So San Diego will start from the 20-yard line. Timeout. The Seahawks fans love it in the lead. In this run of 8 consecutive wins for Marty Schottenheimer's team, they have scored more points in the final quarter than anyone in the NFL. Remember those incredible wins coming from behind against Cincinnati and Denver on the road. They're down by 1. Rivers dumps it off to Neal. And Lorenzo, the former wrestling star, went to Fresno State, takes it to the 27, a gain of 7. And for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. It's the Chargers and Seahawks in Seattle. I'm Dick Henberg along with Randy Cross, and our score has just changed. Seattle going in front 14-13. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after the game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. And this, arguably the noisiest crowd in the NFL. They've created several false starts today, and now with a lead, they're louder than ever. LaDainian Tomlinson, and he's smothered after a yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 3. But first to James Brown in New York.
Hey, Dick and Randy, Cardinals looking to make it 4 straight over the Niners, but San Fran's running back Frank Gore, an outstanding season, his 2nd touchdown of the day, drawing them 26-20 to Arizona that late in the 4th. Dick and Randy.
All right, thank you, Frank Gore, who ripped up the Seattle defense in a big upset in the Seahawks last game, 24-14 on this field. A rare loss by Seattle at home. 3rd down and 2. Rivers, the quick throw is incomplete as Vincent Jackson, good timing on the defense by Kelly Herndon, and Herndon made contact and forced the ball free.
That was a good throw, a good attempted catch, but a better defensive play. He put the ball in the perfect spot. Kelly Herndon just got his arm in there to take it away from Jackson.
And this Seahawks defense has been outstanding today against the pass, as Phillip Rivers now has completed only a handful, 6 for 22. The punt, fair catch, Burleson in a crowd, and was it touched by a Seahawk? It cannot be advanced on a muff punt. Let's see if a Seattle player touched it. If he did, then it's San Diego's ball. The ball might have taken an awkward bounce and hit a Seattle player's leg. Of course, the Chargers are campaigning for that call. Or did it hit a San Diego player first and then it'd be a dead ball? I think either way, the coach will throw the flag.
Yeah, it'll be reviewed.
Touch the receiver. Was recovered by the kicking team.
Holmgren will wind up and fire.
Well, you've got to see what Burleson was looking at. He's looking at a ball that's quickly dying. Makes a smart decision to get out of the way. Tries to catch it. That ball first hits the Charger. It hits Turner first. See, it's touched by Turner.
Or does Burleson touch it on the attempted catch.
No, it didn't look like he touched it.
Look to me.
See? No, it looks like it misses his fingers, but it hits Turner on the rebound.
And there's Holmgren's challenge call.
There's no movement as that ball comes down, though. There's no movement in the fingers. That's what you have to look at. See the fingers? The fingers stay extended. He never even gets a chance to brush that thing. Doesn't change the flight of it.
Seattle's challenger ruling on the field, but the ball touched the receivers first.
Now, there may be another issue to this, and we'll get to that after this challenge review.
Okay, now watch the ball come down. Watch the flight of the ball and watch the fingers of Burleson. The flight of the ball never is altered. The fingers never really move. The first thing it hits is Turner. So the ball there is touched. That's what they refer to in the old book as an illegal touch. Now the return team can pick it up and run with it.
Listen to the roar now.
The ball touched number 33 of the kicking team. That's an illegal touch at the 38-yard line. First down. Yeah.
That's like opening that present you've been looking at with that big red bow. I can't wait. See what's in there. Well, they couldn't wait for the call, and it appeared to be a very proper one.
Now the illegal touches, once Turner touches the ball, the Seahawks actually could pick it up without jeopardy. I mean, they could do whatever they want with it. They could run around, they could fumble it, they could do a lot of stuff, but 33 Turner, the ball comes down and it comes up and hits him in the leg. And when it comes up and hits him in the leg, it's touched right there. The ball is right at that spot, is where it is down. It doesn't matter if Burleson grabs it and fumbles it. Once it's touched like that by the kicking team, it is down.
And this momentum has swung heavily to Seattle at the moment, leading 14-13. They give it to Alexander. And Alexander, boy, he had a running start there, didn't he? If he had any kind of a hole, but it closed after a couple of yards. Meanwhile, the 49ers, we understand, have lost their game in Arizona. So regardless of the outcome here, Seattle has won the NFC West. They're in the playoffs, but they're looking for more than that. 14-13 they lead with under 11 minutes to go. 2nd and 7. Hasselbeck for Branch. Nice defense from Jammer.
Using your head. Literally.
He had him covered, hands, feet, and helmet.
Yeah, nothing hit but lightning bolt on this one. It just bounces right off the top of the helmet. And off the hands of Branch. Wow.
So 3rd down, 7. Seattle.
If there's a Seahawk, Dick, that's in need of retribution, it's got to be Deion Branch. He needs that second chance that Shannon Sharpe was talking about in the pregame show.
He's the top of your screen. Ingram, who is the sure-handed veteran, looked to be moving forward on the snap, and Hasselbeck's going to scramble and does a good hurdling job for a first down. Hurdled over Sean Phillips. And finally Florence downs him, but not until Hasselbeck on his first scramble of the day has a big first down on 3rd down.
This is about playing quarterback in this league and having amnesia. Because if you're going to play in this league, you can't worry about the interceptions. You can't worry about the drops. You got to worry about that play.
And you can't worry about the knee injury you have heavily braced. You want to win the game, and it's a first down. 48 of San Diego. Alexander behind him. It's Alexander, and he struggles for a yard in the grasp of big Jamal Williams, the defensive nose tackle of San Diego. He's become a star on defense, this 9-year veteran from Oklahoma State.
But Dick, I want to go back to that one series that San Diego had the ball earlier, and it just seems the momentum of this game has completely changed since those 3 plays. The attempted reverse and the backfield formation change, the sack, the whole thing, it just completely changed the momentum. The crowd got back in it, and Seattle began to believe that they could win.
Yeah, San Diego had just taken a 10-0 lead and then gotten the ball back. The throw over the middle, complete. And Branch has this one. First down at the 35. Quentin Jammer, the tackler.
And he seems to beat on the ground saying, thank you, thank you, thank you.
For those of you who have just joined us, Branch has had a tough day. He's had about 4 drops.
Remember that movie, Little Giants? There was the wide receiver in that one that couldn't catch. He was always looking at his hands going, why are you letting me down?
4 catches, 44 yards. Quick huddle, and then it's Alexander spinning up the middle and then rejected at the 33-yard line. A reminder, 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after our game here in Seattle, except on the West Coast where it'll be offered at its regularly scheduled time. Alexander with good second effort picked up a strong 3. And now, as you can see in our stat tracks, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. Seattle had only 2 rushing touchdowns the last 11 games, but 2 on this afternoon by Alexander. Clock down to the 8-minute mark. Back to Sean Alexander. And a good tackle in the hole. Linebacker Cooper filling. Well, Randy's crosstalk previewing what we might see today. Christmas spirit.
And early on, it was naughty from Seattle. It really was, but nothing naughty about this team in this second half, especially this fourth quarter. And LT has done everything he could do to be sure that they're going to be home for the entire playoffs. They already know they'll be home for the first playoff game, and they'll have that bye week.
Sean Phillips being helped off the field, holding his left hand and wrist. Play stopped at 7:46. Indianapolis losing to Houston today, so San Diego benefits from the Colts loss. They know they'll get a bye in the first week of the playoffs as AFC Western champions, and Seattle with San Francisco losing earlier today. They are the NFC West champs again. Alexander on the draw. Look at him battle for yardage to the 20. Yeah, they stand and cheer.
Well, they're back into field goal range. This is about making a point. This is about being physical, but it's also about the clock. They're staying in bounds, they're running the ball, and they're staying dedicated to Sean Alexander. And this is a Seahawk team this fan base hasn't seen much of this year.
And with that yardage, Alexander has passed LaDainian Tomlinson by 4. 127 yards for him, 123 for LT. And what an effort. Why not give it to him again? This time trapped in the backfield for a yard loss as Williams and Olshansky penetrated along with Jacques Césaire, the front 3. Clock ticking down to 6.5 minutes, and they're icing LT as you see the rain continues to fall as it has since the warm-ups.
You know, there's only one stat that both these guys really care about, and to their credit, it's absolutely true, and that's winning. You can give them all the awards and the yards and everything else they want, but if it's about their team winning. That's why you got to admire both these running backs for being such great teammates.
Hackett and Ingram to the left, and then they run right with Alexander. Cuts back, and there's a lot of room over there. 15, and what a good open field tackle by Drayton Florence. Florence able to submarine make the stop, save a touchdown.
Did you see Hasselbeck? You got to watch Hasselbeck. It was so funny. Hasselbeck comes through, hands off the ball, and then he's going to carry out the fake going backside, and suddenly he goes, hey, I'm a lead blocker. Look at him up there. He's trying to get in front. He's going to make a block. He's going to lead him into the end zone.
Well, he was one man away, if not for Florence, of hitting the trifecta, his 3rd touchdown. Florence saves the score and brings up 3rd down and 5. 11th play of this drive and consuming a lot of time, down to 5:20 left in the 4th quarter. 3rd down, and Mo Morris now in, and the handoff, no, it's Hasselbeck throwing the ball toward the end zone, incomplete. His arm was hit. Jeremy Stevens, the tight end, was open, but Hasselbeck just couldn't get full arm release on his throw.
Well, Cooper and a whole list of others get into the backfield on this play, and it almost looked like Hasselbeck was trying to throw it away, but he was trying to get as much on it as possible. Cooper got there first, and he's the reason that the ball was thrown away and thrown out of there the way it was. And you see, and good for San Diego it was, because Stevens was wide open.
33-yard attempt by Josh Brown to make it a 4-point lead. And he hits it right down the middle. Seattle 17, San Diego 13. Still precipitating in Seattle, as we remind you, 60 minutes coming up at the conclusion of our game in its entirety, except on the West Coast. Well, that was a 6-minute, 8-second drive consumed by Hasselbeck and company, and 33-yard field goal, the result. Josh Brown to make it 17-13. 13 points is the lowest total for San Diego this year. They scored only 13 in their loss in game 3 in Baltimore, 16-13. They've only lost 2, both by a field goal. They trail by 4 now with 5 minutes left. Turner to the 30 and wrestled down by half a dozen Seahawks, led by Lance Laurie. And Phillip Rivers, here's this all but a rookie. He had 2 years on the sidelines behind Drew Brees, and this his first full season, earns a trip to Honolulu. His numbers have regressed as the season has worn on, and he's had a tough day today. 99 yards is all he's been able to collect, passing on only 6 completions. Let's see what he does. He's rallied his team from huge deficits against Denver, and at Cincinnati. Here's an opportunity. Tomlinson and Neal behind him. Plenty of time. San Diego has 2 timeouts left. Pump fake, throw down the middle, complete to Jackson at the 44 of Seattle. And a first down there in front of Kelly Jennings.
Excellent protection, good firing of the ball by Phillip Rivers. And hey, I'll be honest, if he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, he makes a difference here in the fourth quarter. He can prove right here it wasn't a team award. Right here's the time you prove to everybody out there that doubts if you're a Pro Bowler that the award is yours and not the Chargers organization's.
21 yards on that first down throw to Jackson. LT sprints through a hole, staggers forward, and the grasp of Lofo Tatupu, and a flag is down. Ron Winter with the call.
That's always holding where they put that flag.
Holding. Offense number 85. A 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Antonio Gates, the tight end, guilty of the hold.
And Phillip Rivers, it's been one of those days, Dick. It's just last week was frustrating. They were showing him things he hadn't seen, and I'm not sure if that's the case today. He's just gotten some pressure maybe like he is not familiar with, and he's just been a little off.
First down and 20, and here comes the volume. These fans, the 12th man in Seattle. Steps up and throwing long for Jackson again, and the big man almost gets it on the second chance. Kelly Jennings there. It was really a battle of the 6'5" Jackson against the 5'11" Jennings, and he had a second chance.
Last week against Kansas City, that 55-yarder was really the play that separated them and the Chiefs. It was the same combination, and coming off the rebound, Jackson had every chance. I really believe the ball bouncing off his face kind of naturally makes you flinch and take your eyes off of what you're doing, and losing track of the ball cost him that deflection.
Few hearts stopped in Seattle and down in Southern California on that play. Rivers has to spend a valuable timeout. With 4:09 left, and using 2 of the 3 timeouts, it becomes all the more imperative for San Diego to do something in this possession, and they're in a 2nd and 20 hole.
Well, Dick, especially given what the Seattle offense has suddenly done now in this second half. You know, because they've proven they can go away with the clock. They can go away with the ball. And this is when you're playmakers. I sort of mentioned that Rivers has to show it here. Well, his best weapon is LaDainian Tomlinson. And these are the moments that LaDainian Tomlinson usually shines the brightest.
And LT with 8 consecutive multi-touchdown games, but kept out of the end zone today. Did get in once on a 48-yard run that was called back on the penalty.
No coincidence, his last touchdown-less game was their last loss.
2nd and 20. Rivers to the sideline. Incomplete. Jackson off his hands. That would have been good for about 12, 13 yards if he caught it. 3rd and 20. And the clock down to 4:04 remaining. Kelly Jennings playing for the injured Marcus Trufant, who left on a cart earlier in the game.
This to me is always a very interesting situation defensively. What do? Do you risk going after the quarterback? That's what's got you to where you are defensively. You put pressure on Phillip Rivers. Or do you play soft, play zone, and just keep him in front of the sticks?
Hassan Osgood is the wide out to the left. Jackson to the right. They go with a 4-man rush. And they throw underneath, and Tomlinson drops it. So 4th down and 20. The punting team out with 3:58.
Well, Dick, it was lack of support for Matt Hasselbeck, and his receivers were dropping the ball. And now it's just been a case where if they're taking away Antonio Gates, somebody has to step forward receiving-wise, and they've had drops.
Well, Gates had cleared it out for Tomlinson. Had he caught it, he already had 10 of the yards with open field in front of him, but perhaps a little too eager to get upfield with a run. Here's Cyphers. He booms one. Burleson calls for the fair catch at the 5-yard line, and after his own second thought, probably wishes he'd let that one go.
You know, Dick, it bears mentioning here with the way this game's going. The team I told you to watch out for earlier, Baltimore, has got to be back enjoying a crab cake, enjoying this one, because they know that they have an opportunity to maybe get to the point where they can host undisturbed.
If they tie at the end of the regular season, then the Ravens have the advantage, having won head-to-head, beating San Diego in that 3rd game of the season by a field goal. And they play at home against Buffalo. Buffalo, hate to say anyone's eliminated, but I believe they were eliminated with their loss today. And San Diego will be home against improving Arizona. Alexander on 1st down, and he plows his way forward, almost 5, does get 5 yards. Jamal Williams loses his helmet, but doesn't lose his man.
Well, you've got only one timeout if you're San Diego. If you had more at your disposal, you'd love to be able to put a little crimp in the clock here, but I believe you're in a situation where you need to go all the way down to the 2-minute before you use a timeout here and just hope your defense can stop them.
And the veteran Hasselbeck will use his full complement of time. He hasn't broken huddle, and it's down to 13 seconds on the play clock. And a 1st down of any kind would be disastrous to the Chargers' hopes. And Alexander has been moving the pile. With 1 second on the clock, Alexander protecting the ball, gets a yard to the 11. Ryan Bingham, the nose tackle, defensive tackle from Nebraska, makes the stop. 60 minutes to follow at the conclusion of this game. I know many of you around the country in the Eastern and Midwestern time zones tuning in. A very long game here in Seattle in the rain. 2 first-place teams with so much at stake. Seattle has wrapped up the NFC West earlier when San Francisco lost. Marty Schottenheimer's Chargers, they've won the AFC West, and with a loss to Indianapolis have a 1st-round bye in the playoffs, but they were looking for complete home field advantage. Should they lose today with 1 game remaining, Baltimore then would be in the driver's seat for home field advantage in the AFC.
And really, especially in this second half, Dick, and if not for the entire game, I think we've seen the Seattle Seahawks a lot of people expected to see for the better part of this season. And granted, Hasselbeck's as healthy as he's been, and the offensive line's about as healthy as it's been without a Hutchinson, who they lost at free agency, without a Robbie Tobeck at center. And I think they've really been able to get the running game going, which makes a huge difference for this organization.
This is a monumental 3rd down and 3. If Seattle can make it, then they can all but run out the clock. Jamal Williams got there first, however, and Alexander, despite the fact he was spinning away, there was a second support from Terrence Keel in the secondary, and it stops Alexander short of the 1st down by a yard. Now the clock is running. San Diego will get the ball on the punt before the 2-minute warning, so they'll have the 2-minute warning but no timeouts left.
There's a 10-minute spread basically between the play clock and the game clock getting down to 2 minutes. So you take your time here if you're Seattle and just let things go about all the way down to about 2.
Holmgren's out with an official. Yeah, that's exactly. Mike's out there. He's saying as soon as that thing hits 2 or 1, then we'll take our timeout. Going to maximize the use right to the 1. Well, they'll take the penalty apparently unless they called it right at 1.
He called timeout.
Well, not much scoring. These two teams, in San Diego, the highest scoring team in the league coming in. Jackson, a 9-yard touchdown catch for 7-0 at the half. Only completion for San Diego the entire first half. And then a big 33-yard run from Alexander. And the spirit of his running as he had 2 tough touchdown runs. An obvious inspiration to his team and to this vociferous crowd.
I think if you take something from this game and you've watched it, I believe it's got to be that, you know, Seattle stood up today. Seattle was a big underdog to this San Diego team. Many people think this is the best team in the NFL. And Seattle is standing up to them, and I think it's really got to surprise a lot of folks.
Recovered from a 10-0 lead. Here's the rookie, and he sends another beautiful kick. He has been part of the story. McCardell, 35, 40, 41-yard line. Protecting the ball rather than really going after the defense. So with no timeouts, and we're at the 2-minute warning here in Seattle.
Fellas, take a look here as Carson Palmer hooks up with T.J. Houshmandzadeh to draw the Bengals within 1 of Denver in regulation. The point after to tie it up with 41 seconds left is botched. So Cincy trailing by 1, 41 seconds left in regulation. The postseason is not guaranteed to Cincinnati, as we know. Back to Dick and Randy.
My, oh my, you come down to these key games for the playoffs and you botch the extra point. What next? Well, for the Chargers, they've got a tough haul. They need a touchdown to win it, and they're 59 yards away with no timeouts, 2 minutes on the clock. Tomlinson with Rivers in the shotgun. With the noise, they screen it to Tomlinson, looks for a block. 45, 50, 49, about a first down. And now this is where Rivers and the Chargers have to move quickly to the line of scrimmage. They could have asked for a measurement there and do not, and the clock is running. 1:42. They seem disoriented. Rivers spending a lot of time setting his team.
Wrong formation. They're wasting time.
They wasted about 15 seconds there. It's a first down. Rivers, and then a flag down. And it's a false start.
False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, there he's got a first down. He could have downed the ball and got his team set, but Rivers, and perhaps this is just the field inexperience, let a lot of clock go, and then they get hit with the false start.
And then the crowd comes back. It's been the constant.
It has been a factor. There's no question. Over the middle. Jackson complete at the 40. It's not a first down. Let's see how quickly the Chargers get up and set that line. It'll be second down and about 1.
Remember, it's a 4-point game. Moving inside of 110. San Diego has to have a touchdown.
Rivers without a huddle trying to get the play. And sneaks it straight ahead for the first down. Now he can down the ball quickly here as the clock is under 1. 55-54. Rivers seems unsure, doesn't he?
You've got to be here saying kill, 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 kill. Get under and stop the clock.
But he doesn't.
Time's more important than anything else here.
Yeah, twice they could have downed the ball and did not. Rivers. And that ball is caught but out of bounds. Jackson could not get both feet down. Clock stopped, 36 seconds.
Okay, now if you wasted, let's say, 10 seconds, 10 seconds before, 10 seconds there, instead of being 36 seconds on the clock, you're looking at 56 seconds if you have proper time management. This is a life lesson for Marty Schottenheimer's young quarterback. If he pulls it off, he's a star, but he's wasting a lot of time.
There's been 2 or 3 extra plays in that 20 seconds that he's not taken full advantage of. Second and 10. He's going deep, and he's got a man open. Jackson, touchdown! Oh my, Vincent Jackson. They let him go, and look at the Charger sidelines. "37 yards, and Vincent Jackson, who had the touchdown to open the scoring late in the first half, and somehow they let him slip wide open. He was 5 yards open.
Wasted time, but a perfect play. And how on God's green earth you let Vincent Jackson, the only guy that really can beat you deep, get behind you, clearly behind you? I can't begin to tell you. That was a wonderful throw by Philip Rivers. Great poise. Made that bad clock management a moot point.
Yeah, didn't he ever?
Went from
Shall
bad
we swallow? Would you like some of my words? I'll cut them up for you, and we'll dice them and try to consume them.
I've got a crow right here. I've got to eat a little of, but I tell you, that was just a wonderful play by the offense and an abysmal failure by the Seattle defense.
Kading adds the extra point to give San Diego a 20-17 lead with 29 seconds showing on the clock, and Seattle has one timeout.
Look at the pocket that forms for Philip Rivers, giving him perfect protection. Absolutely perfect protection. Just surrounds him, gives him the space to step up into this throw, which he needs to step up into. But you're behind by 3 yards?
Kelly Herndon and Michael Boulware were left in the tracks. Jackson straight down the middle.
Well, the reason Michael Boulware was taking that break and wasn't starting for a while for Seattle was that very reason. Receivers getting deep behind him.
Well, that young man, Philip Rivers, had the best rating of any quarterback in the fourth quarter in the NFL this season. He punctuated it. We welcome those of you who have seen that dramatic finish with a muffed extra point by Cincinnati, giving the Denver Broncos a 24-23 win. And just as shocking here with no timeouts left, Philip Rivers finds Vincent Jackson. Look at how open he is, trailing by 4. And with that touchdown catch at 29 seconds left in the game, the San Diego Chargers reclaim the lead 20-17. 37-yard play.
Philip Rivers has that look on him like, what were you nervous about? I never had a doubt.
There is a lot of boy in this father of 3, Philip Rivers. Burleson had a 96-yard kickoff return called back on a penalty, and unfortunately, well, it's surprising they kick it to him. And here he comes across the 25 to the 27. 23 seconds left for Hasselbeck and Seattle to try to return the miracle. Well, with play today, Baltimore won. Of course, these are the division leaders. San Diego and Baltimore battling for home field advantage throughout, and should San Diego lose today, then Baltimore would have the head-to-head advantage. Indianapolis loses at Houston. The big shocker, New England has won the AFC East once again. Denver and the Jets now are in the top position for the wild card in the AFC.
And they control their own fate, which is all you can ask this time of the year. Let us take care of our own business.
Chargers have a man back at the 50-yard line as they look for the big pass from Hasselbeck. Steps up, looking, and his arm is hit as he throws incomplete to Matt Strong. And Seattle has clinched the NFC Western Championship. That's 3 in a row for the Seahawks of Mike Holmgren, even though they might lose this and go 8-7. San Francisco, having lost, drops out of contention for a playoff spot.
Well, Seattle still has a timeout with 18 seconds, and they have about 40 yards to go to get in a field goal range.
And they've got a man, Josh Brown, who has made a habit this season of coming up with big kicks in the final seconds. 4 game winners in the final minute for Josh Brown. One a 54-yarder.
Ball start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
That will not help Chris Gray with that. Now Brown, to get say a 55-yard kick, they'd have to get down to around the 40-yard line, just inside the 40.
About 40 yards from right where they are right now. 41 to be exact, 42 yards.
18 seconds left.
Sets up a 53, 54-yarder.
And Brown very capable, although into the wind here, going left to right. Hasselbeck being chased, and he's sacked again. That's 6 in the game, and the 3rd by Sean Merriman that boosts his total to 15 and a half.
You gotta use your timeout here.
And they do, with 7 seconds on the clock. And the ball down at the 23-yard line.
See, there's no way, Dick, you're going to get your receivers back to the line of scrimmage. You've got to use your timeout as soon as that's a sack.
A reminder, 60 minutes next for those of you in the East and Midwest as we conclude our game here in Seattle. Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, and with so much talk about the offensive firepower, and naturally so, the magnetic force there being LaDainian Tomlinson, many have overlooked what a good defensive year Wayne Phillips's Chargers have had.
Well, I tell you, in this instance right here, you're going to have probably 5-6 guys 40 yards off the line of scrimmage, but you still have Phillips, you still have Merriman. But you can get a good pass pressure here.
Here's the pass complete out to Deion Branch, who hits the sidelines and out of bounds across the 40, 4 seconds. So this, unless there's a penalty, will probably be the final play of the game. And here's where Hasselbeck, unless they've got one of those 8 lateral plays in store, is going to crank it up and throw it as far as he can and hope to get a carom to a fellow teammate and a freak touchdown.
Yeah, what you really want here is twofold. Like you said, the hook and lateral and the Stanford band come on the field and everything else. Or you want a defensive penalty, because the game cannot end on a defensive penalty.
Chargers all the way back to the 25-yard line with their back defense. Hasselbeck steps up and he's hit as he throws. A wobbler, batted in the air, and then a second by Clinton Hart, who had 2 interceptions today. And the game comes to a conclusion in Seattle, and the Chargers steal the win 20-17 with a last-minute touchdown from Rivers to Vincent Jackson. Coming up next, it's 60 Minutes, Cold Case, and a fine holiday movie, CBS movie, A Very Merry Christmas. The San Diego Chargers win it 20-17. For Randy Cross, Dick Enberg, so long from the great Northwest. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.